empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by
The Org Boss. The Org Boss is a residential and commercial organizing company that specializes in decluttering, interior design, inventory staging, business processing documentation, and more. Reach The Org Boss today at 832-617-0624 or send an email to info@theorgboss.com.
True Digital Media Consulting. You're online right now and so are your customers, but marketing has to be a consistent journey. True Digital Media Consulting can help with your online ads, organic growth, and so much more. Contact us today at 832-934-4436 or visit our website at truedigitalmediaconsulting.com.
Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Hey, yo, what's good, my peeps? You already know what it is. It's Startup Master, the place if you are thinking about starting a business, if you have a business and you perhaps just want to refresh, recharge some of your ideas, you came to the correct place. You know why? Because we drop the dopest gems. We have riveting content, and our guests are sure to leave you motivated, inspired, and ready just to keep on journeying down this winding road into entrepreneurship. I'm your girl, Kalia Guillory, also known as KG. You can follow me, connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and for my YouTubers, KOG Speaks TV. All my other folks, KOG Speaks, that's where you can find me. What about you, G? What's good?
What's up, good people? Welcome back to another great episode of Startup Masters. I'm your co-host, Gary Lee, also known as G Hawkins. Now, look, you can find me everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, maybe later tonight at Prospect Park, at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with the Z. And you're at the right place to be. Let me just tell y'all. This, you laughing at me already? This
already?
Is what we on?
This is new one. Prospect Park? I mean, that's where we going?
Shout out to Mardi Gras. We might get it
Fat
popping.
Tuesday in the building. What? We should have had beads.
I almost fainted on
We
him.
should have had beads.
We should have had a king cake at the table. Let me just talk about the realness. But that's all right.
It's good.
2019.
We got it.
2019 is popping.
Check.
So this is what we do here. For those that are tuned in right now, for those that are watching, we're talking entrepreneurship. We're talking everything that goes into building your business, goes into enjoying that journey, and then goes into enjoying the fruits of that labor.
Come on, fruit.
Right here at Startup Masters. So we try to keep it enjoyable. We try to have a lot of fun, and we try to sew back into you. Now, remember, though, first 15 minutes or so is just Facebook Live, right? So for those that are tuned in right now via Facebook Live, those that are watching later, you got to go subscribe over at the website. So we'll talk about that later. Sit back, buckle your seatbelt, and let's hop on this journey. Now, KG, we've got somebody at the table today.
At the table.
He's doing this thing. Came in flying fresh.
Listen,
with a nice,
clean.
with a nice crisp white shirt and a tie.
We refer to that as casket sharp.
Casket.
I like
sharp
it.
and
I like
fresh.
it.
Doing this thing, we're talking about the author of how to create a great business name. Somebody that's going to tell you about the beauty of a business name. He's going to talk about the trust that it builds. We're going to talk about how the fact that it tells a story, and of course, we're talking about business names that have a dollar value associated to. So, without further ado, let's bring in Mr. Keith Henry. Keith, what up, man? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling real good. Thanks for the introduction.
Hey, this is what we do, man. We're going to record that and send it to you, sir.
Please do. I like that.
Hey,
I just need to.
it is.
I don't need it every day, but once a week.
Once a week, hit that.
Easy.
Hit that thing. Hit the alarm clock.
Yeah. I like that.
Let me get my Friday intro. We're about to turn up on the
Friday
Friday.
on a Tuesday.
It is. Shout out to Mardi Gras. Yeah, we're in that mood right now. So I don't know if you checked us out, but this is what we do. we like to take our people on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
We like to talk about the infancy of business. What gave you that idea? Those stumbling blocks along that journey.
Mm-hmm.
We like to take a pivot point and stop and talk about where you're at today. And then, of course, we're talking 5, 10, 20-year plan down the road. You ready to take our people on this journey?
I'm ready.
Let's do it then. All right, so folks, get your digital pads, get your old school inkwell, whatever you need to get to take these notes. So we're about to go on this entrepreneur journey. So, Keith, take us back, my G. Take us back in time when you said, you know what? I need to help people get a firm understanding about the value of an awesome business name. What was going on in your life when that idea came to you?
Well, first I gotta go back.
Let's do it.
Take us back.
Take you back. So it was back when I was in college. I went to the University of Houston downtown.
Nice.
UHD in the building.
We did that.
UHD.
We all did that.
Hey.
And I went to the entrepreneurship program at UHD. And I started this company, Kick Street, but back then it was about sneakers. We wanted to take all of the fashionable sneakers, whether it's for casual sneakers or athletic sneakers, running, playing basketball, but bring it to one place. Because if I want some casual sneakers, I have to go to DSW or like Nordstrom Rack.
Sure.
If I wanted some athletic sneakers, I have to go to Foot Locker or one of those boutique sneaker stores. Like, well, let's bring them to one place online. So I started there, and it just didn't work out. And then I moved to Argentina, Buenos Aires. I was there for about 3 years.
Okay.
And while I was out there, I was working with many different people, other entrepreneurs, people having startups. And because I kind of was good at marketing, it was an area where I placed a lot of my attention towards. They were asking me for my feedback with a lot of different things, and I kept helping them come up with names and other creative ideas. I'm like, okay,
It's your niche.
I got a talent for it,
Yeah.
but still didn't quite execute on it just yet.
Okay.
So I came back to the U.S. around 2014, and I wanted to develop products. And so I started doing that because Kick Street, we had to revamp the company. I had a partner. We had to make some changes. I was like, well, I was creating products when I was 15, just based on concepts. And I'd come up with names that were really good, and I would help people come up with names and other branding and marketing things. I was like, well, why don't I just do this, full time? So I started studying about names, and it was something I was just real passionate about. I always knew the importance of a name, how it reflects identity, how it has value, how it can be worth millions, and in some cases it can be worth billions. How just by having a great name alone can set the tone for the future of your business. It was so much that went into it, and it was so detailed. I was like, well, why don't I just change the business model to Kick Street and move forward with it being a creative agency who help companies create names. So that's kind of that's some history of how it came about. And and then since then we've been helping companies create domain names, product names, company names, also trademark. So when I say a name, it goes a little bit deeper than a name, because we're not giving you a name. Do you know what we're giving you? An identity, and that's huge. Right.
So peel the onion back a little bit more on that, Keith. For our viewers who are listening, who a lot of them are probably considering, I can't do this 9 to 5 anymore. I can transition these transferable skills and my competencies I'm working out in corporate America into my own business. But they haven't quite figured out just that identity. Talk a little bit more about how you brainstorm with potential clients and with your clients to uncover that identity.
Oh, yes. I can tell you
but
that.
that fella perked up. You saw him? Listen, if you should see his face. Oh, come on, KG, I'm ready.
This alley-oop.
Well, I like alley-hoop too. Yeah. Well, I just did a workshop on this. So I go to universities and I talk about identity. I talk about naming. I have workshops. And I talk about this a lot. And it's when we talk about identity, it's fairly simple. For example, if I ask you, who are you? What would you say? If I ask you, who are you? What would you say?
I'm fun. I'm dopeness. I'm centered. I am everything input, nothing as far as output, like all those things.
So that's who you are. Right? And when you ask people these things, they like, I'm not really sure because we never really thought about it. How do you figure out your identity? And it's a process. And the process is first you need a vision, right? When you have a vision, it sets the destination of where you're going. And I know you all know this, but it also helps you gain goals. And then when you have goals, you're able to focus on the things that matter. And then also with the vision, what's important about that is it talks to your subconscious mind to look for opportunities, right? So if you didn't have goals or that vision, that thing that pushes you forward, then you may miss an opportunity because right now as we speak, there are billions of opportunities everywhere. But if you don't have a need for it, you'll miss it.
There it is. So let me put a pin in that. So for those that are tuned in right now, you ride in traffic and you listen to this, you're sitting on your couch watching this via Apple TV. Did you catch that gem right there? What he said was, if the vision is there, if you've got a clear understanding of your vision, of the journey that you want to be on, you will then start to see the opportunities. Let me make it plain for you, Pastor.
Go ahead.
You ever put your
Preach,
eye
brother.
on a vehicle? That's how, you know what I'm saying? You're driving down the highway. Let's say you went and looked at a new car, right? And now just so happened because your mind is on that new vehicle, every time you turn around, you now see that vehicle.
That's right.
Everywhere. Why? Because your mind is on it, and subconsciously, now you're aware. Put the vision in place, people, so the journey can be plain.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, let's keep this thing rolling.
yeah.
Awareness.
Come on.
Man, you got me started now.
There
we go. Keep going.
I'm about to bust into a Keith Sweat. But come on, my G.
No, you got me twisted. Hold on. now.
Yes.
Old school.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
All right, so so we see that with the vision, it helps you set goals, it helps you focus on the thing that matters, and it helps you remove all of these unnecessary distractions. Imagine asking the captain of a ship, "Hey, where you going?" He or she says, "I don't know." Man, you end up anywhere.
Yeah, that's not where I'm trying to go.
At all.
That ain't my vision.
Exit, please. Stage left. I'm out this
Lifeboat,
ship.
cue the lifeboat.
Yeah.
All right, you gonna jump off?
I'm out.
outta here.
You may have a better chance.
I got a mitigated risk that this ain't gonna work out.
Yeah, exactly. So once you have that vision, you know, you're talking to your subconscious mind, correlates to your conscious mind and say, okay, I see opportunities now that I didn't see before. But you know what else vision does?
Tell me.
Vision produces purpose. Right? And we need purpose. Purpose is beyond, I want to make money. Everybody wants to make money.
Yeah,
right?
who don't?
So to separate yourself from the competition, from other businesses, you say, well, my purpose, I have to know why is it that I do what I do. Right? And once you know your purpose, purpose breeds identity.
It always does.
For example, there's a guy by the name of Simon Sinek. He does a lot of TED Talks. Are you all familiar with TED Talks?
Oh yeah, it's on the bucket list.
All right. And his is one talk called How Leaders Inspire Action. And he talks about leaders have a strong belief. Right? They believe in something. They know exactly, they know why they do what they do. Right? They know the purpose of it. And they know the purpose of why they do what they do. So he says people don't buy, what you do, they buy why you do it.
The why.
The why. The why is important.
It is very important. So purpose is important, and your vision and your purpose has to be clear. You're talking about one sentence. My vision is X. My purpose is X. So those two things right there are important for identity.
I like what you just said, and I hope you guys caught that because what you said is my vision is X. My purpose is X. I think oftentimes we get this convoluted idea that
Absolutely.
our vision and our purpose somehow are meshed together when they can operate on two totally different axles. Well, listen, we believe that you got to have some type of organization to be able to put down on paper that you have your purpose, your higher purpose, and you also know what your vision is. And oftentimes we find that our viewers are a little bit like, I don't have the time to do this. But guess what? We got somebody that can help you put those processes together so you can focus on your vision and your purpose. This portion of the show is sponsored by the Org Boss. Has the clutter in your home or office gotten out of hand? Are you sick and tired of spending way too much time trying to find the things you need on a daily basis? If so, then give the Org Boss a call so that she can help you create organized, functional systems that match your personal lifestyle. The Org Boss is a residential and commercial organizing company that specializes in decluttering, home staging, interior design, space planning, inventory staging, and business process documentation for growing businesses looking to formally document their procedures. Call the Org Boss today at 832-617-0624 or send an email to info@theorgboss.com. That's info@THEORGBOSS.com. Shout out to V.
Shout out to V. So, before we dive deeper into this, look, folks, I told y'all, y'all should have been watching your clocks.
Hey.
We're talking to Mr. NameIsKing.com, none other than Keith Henry. That's here, right. Who's providing you some information that you can use for your business. But Facebook Live, your time is up. So this is what you've got to do. Head over to thesphere.tv/startup masters. You're going to have to subscribe to get the rest of us. And of course, it's free of charge. So we've got options for you. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spreaker, YouTube, and of course, iHeartRadio. Now, while you're at any of those places, we need you to do two things. One, we want you to give us some constructive criticism out of the business, in and out of the facility, providing this great content to you. Then the second thing we want you to do is make sure you share this out. Share it with your family, your friends, share it with your colleagues, share it with your loved ones, share it with your haters, share it with anyone and everyone out there that you know that could use this information about the power of branding and your business name. And last but not least, if you truly love what we're doing, you like the fact that we're sewing into you every week, sew back into us. Go to thesphere.tv/donate. We got a couple of options, folks. Donate via the website for a single-based donation. Then, of course, you could donate via Patreon, and we're going to give you exclusive content just for our Patreon-based donators. So, once again, the show's not ending, but you've got to go over to the Sphere and subscribe so that you get the rest of this great content. All right.
Come on, Keith.
Let's keep this rolling.
Let's keep it rolling.
Before we get into where you're at today, before we talk about the book and the website, and this beautiful website, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me, what were some of those hiccups? What were some of those learning opportunities? What were some of those next opportunities, those no's that you received during the infancy of it? Let's talk trials and tribulations, because that's what real entrepreneurs go through. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, and well, there was a lot of mistakes. There were a lot of times where I had to persevere, right? Especially starting out, just not knowing much. I think the thing that helped me was trying to get around the right people, right? Because you are, as they say, you're a product of your environment. And if I would have got around certain people faster, certain things would have been easier.
Tell us what you mean.
Well,
or if you have an example.
Oh man, there are so many.
Please share.
Yeah,
that's what the tape is for. Please share.
Yeah, there's so many examples. For example,
get gritty with us.
When I was talking about Kick Street, the first iteration of Kick Street, where it was a sneaker platform, it was a great idea. Just didn't understand how much money that we needed to get that thing started. Didn't understand how to approach the retailers, the brands, the Nikes, the Adidas, all of those sneaker brands. We didn't know. And maybe if we have done more research, huge mistake that I've made, not doing enough research, kind of just moving a little bit too fast. Got the ambition, definitely got the the intelligence and other things to make it happen, but you got to do your research. So that's key, right?
It's
that's
huge, because oftentimes as an entrepreneur, we think that this is going to happen in the microwave, but it's really in the oven.
Man,
where'd you get that from? I'm stealing.
That's a KOG speak. That's a Kalia Onigillery.
So what you're saying is, I have to go to one of the seminars. I have to go speak somewhere so I can get one of those.
I can give you the license for that.
I appreciate that. One year license. I need a 1 year on that.
One.
Yeah. No, that's a great analogy, and it's probably you probably cooking on not even 400 degrees. You probably 275.
Right. You will forever you're gonna be hungry for another month.
Yeah, you are, right? And but I think the one thing that I've learned that I could share is just not doing enough research, and I think being around the right individuals. And what I mean by right individuals, I mean you have mentors, you have people that are successful, and they will help you, but that doesn't mean that they're right for you. right? And that's where we go back to identity, because once you know, see, I didn't say this, but when you know your identity answers questions and it helps you make decisions, because you're talking about your core value, who you are, down to your core. So if this is who you are, then you will attract those same people. Investors, employees, freelancers, people who are going to be a part of your vision, your dream, your business. And at that time, mine wasn't clear. So I would work with certain people. It would go sour. I spent all of this money on a deal that didn't really pan out. For example, I used to work with videographers and graphic designers. I didn't have concrete proposals. And when something came up, it's like, well, you didn't mention that. It's like, God dog. So now I'm out of time and money. So now I've learned. My proposals are not long now. They're very concise. But I have a proposal, or we work with a creative brief. We work with some kind of document that says, hey, this is what the project is about. This is how you're going to get paid. This is what I expect from you. This is what you expect from me. If you don't do this, this is how the payment is going to go. And at first, I really, just didn't do that. So from research, understanding how, things work, and then really understanding people. I think that's a big one. Really taking the time to understand you are not Gary. You two are different people. And vice versa. You got to understand you're dealing with different people, different egos, different daddy issues. Only God knows what.
You name it.
You name it.
Literally.
But you as the entrepreneur, that's your job to let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
There's a guy by the name of Jim Rohn. He's a motivational speaker.
Love him.
He passed away, so you know him. He has a saying. He says, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better." I love it. Right? Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. So I say that to say, you are the entrepreneur. You're the one who needs the skill to communicate with people well. You're the one that has to communicate with the investor to not let them take advantage of you, or for you two to be on the same page. We can't wish, it was easier. So I think I'm hitting some points of some of the mistakes I've made, and I definitely want to just touch on the research. And I think having the desire to learn, right? Which I did, but it's just that thing you just have to go through. You have to be cooked in the oven.
You got to. Like, it's no way to get it. You
right,
can't avoid that.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
you just have to be, cooked in the oven. And
I agree to that.
I was cooked, man.
It sounds like it. So let's talk about this well done product, right? You've been baking on 275, 300, right? So we know the flavors.
But my oven was preheated too now.
Exactly, always. And you've been marinated. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, marinate, because you've been through that process.
Right.
So let's talk today. Let's talk about now. What kind of services can they expect from the name King himself, King Henry?
I like that.
Talk to me. What kind of services are you providing right now for the public?
Well, as I mentioned before, we help companies create names, but it's really more than that, right? Because what we're doing is giving you more than a name. We're giving you an identity, right? We're helping you figure out who are you, right? When your name hits the marketplace, I want your image. I want your image to be impactful. Right? I want the value of your company to increase. Right? So that's what I care about, and that's what I'm focused on is how do we create a name that's going to improve your image. Right, so you see, that's our blog right there. But we have events where I do talks. I also do speaking. I wrote a book, How to Create a Great Business Name, and that's been bought by universities across the U.S.
Nice. Has
a 5-star rating on Amazon. But it resonates with me of helping people improve their image. Right, and we talk about a name. A name has goodwill, right? And the goodwill it's an intangible asset, so it's on your balance sheet. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's just a name." No, it's not a name. It's a part of who you are. And a name could be more than a name, right? If you take Apple is more than a name. It's I don't know what it is, a movement or something, right? If you wanted just to sell the name alone, it'll probably be worth billions. And I want people to know, protect your name, just like you want to protect your personal name. Right? If I saw you. I say, Gary, man, I saw you on a YouTube video. You were drunk and you did a backflip on a table at Prospect Park. You'd be like, man.
It was. No. But you're right.
But you got to protect that. You're like, hey, man, be careful. You can't just be going around saying those things.
Surely.
Because I got a reputation to uphold, right? So a name, you got the image, you got your identity, and that affects your reputation, right? It affects who you are in the marketplace.
It's
It
bigger
affects
than
how
the brand.
people, bigger than the brand, right? And then if you got a good name, you can think about it. Well, if you want to hire people, you say, oh, I'll go work for that company, right? I like those guys. I like what they represent. I like who they are. I like their name, right? It's not really their name per se, but everything that I just mentioned, image, reputation, identity, it is ingrained, embedded in the name. So that's what I'm doing to help companies
Power.
right now.
That's power
Well,
right there.
and it even goes back to you mentioning you got to surround yourself by the right people, because a lot of oftentimes what we fail to realize is when we do business with people, now they're a representation of our identity.
Absolutely.
Like, we forget that. Like, I mean, first thing I do before I even enter into a meeting, I'm Googling. I need to see, how are you out here? Like, what do you look like? What's your reputation? So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that as well.
Well, that's important. That's really paramount, because think about it. If you go to you watch a commercial, right? You see an athlete, famous celebrity in a commercial. Oh, okay, yeah, nice commercial. Then you go to Google celebrity did something crazy. Well, that company who endorsed that celebrity may drop that celebrity. Why? Well, it's because they don't want to be associated with him, or they don't want to have that image. They don't want their image to be disdained. And it's the same for your image, right? If somebody that you do business with is and can be a reflection of who you are and your business, but it goes back to the identity thing, because once you know your identity, and let me say this, knowing your identity takes time. Right? I didn't even get into the core values and having standards, which is really the meat of it, but it's not something that you can figure out overnight. You got to take maybe years, maybe months. You got to be cooked in that oven.
Can't cook to that oven.
I like that.
I love that, because what you're talking about, what you're getting at, is marketing.
Pretty
right?
much.
I mean, if you think about it, most people think that the celebrities can be dropped from the companies, but some celebrities are also dropping companies too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember H&M. The Weekend was like, "I'm out."
Yeah.
H&M. I don't care how many millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it really goes back to marketing. So, speaking of marketing, this portion of the show is sponsored by
Transition
True Digital. You're online right now, and so are your customers. The question is, how do you actively reach them? Marketing has to be the consistent journey, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. True Digital Media Consulting can help with website development, online ads, your business reputation, and organic growth on search engines. Give us a call today to discuss a customized strategy for your business at 832-934-4436, or send us an email to info@truedigitalmediaconsulting.com. Mention the Sphere to receive a free, I said free, 30-minute strategy consultation.
Indeed. So let me dive in a bit deeper, because obviously we have a understanding of what you bring to the table and the value of it. Now let's talk about you, the person, during these times.
Okay.
What are you doing to pour back into self when you're not out here, when you take the crown off of controlling and creating and curating these names and building brands? How are you sewing back into self to recharge your batteries?
That's easy. And that is, I do things that I enjoy. Right. I like basketball.
Okay.
I go play basketball.
Come on, Hooper.
You got I got a rock in the car and some shoes. We can go shoot some ball.
Called it a rock.
Ain't
now.
nothing but
You already know.
ain't nothing but space and opportunity. I know where the nearest court at.
Oh, okay. we got a game, ladies and
Let's do
gentlemen.
it. Let's do it.
Look at that.
I got my
Yeah.
copper fit in the car too.
All right, it's going down. So I enjoy playing basketball. It's a great sport. It's a beautiful sport, and it really helps me, like you said, recharge that battery. It helps me keep that balance. I love movies. I'm going to see Black Panther.
Of course.
It's a must.
Yeah.
Like
Requirement.
if you're not going to see it,
Black card revoked.
Oh,
No, I'm just calling. Let me just spade a spade.
right?
so I love movies. I love learning about the universe. Right. It's something I enjoy. I enjoy reading.
Astrology.
I love people. I love spending time with good friends, meeting new people. I probably didn't mention this, but I have meetup group called Marketing Playmakers. And what the group is about helping people become better marketers and providing resources to make them become better marketers. And one reason why I created it was to be around like-minded individuals, to meet new people, help people in the community. And I really enjoy that. Meeting you all, coming here is fun. It helps me. Helps me recharge. It helps me revitalize probably some energy that I've lost. But I got a lot of energy, so I can keep going and going. But being social, playing basketball, doing things that I really enjoy, it helps combat the day-to-day grind.
And the day-to-day grind can be fierce.
It can be
But
grimy.
that's the entrepreneurial way.
But speaking of that day-to-day grind, it's important for us, as we know, everyone that sits around this table, we always talk about protecting our creative space. How do you do that? Because you are pouring out. Your output sometimes is probably outweighing your input. So how do you combat that to make sure that you're protecting that indeed creative space so you can come up with these names that are king?
Right, that's easy too. It's real simple. I just take walks. I love walking. I'll go to the park and just walk. Some of my best ideas just come from just walking. But another important thing is removing the negative people, the negative things. For example, watching the news or watching things that really just don't sit right with me. It doesn't sit with who I am. We'll go back to identity, right? Yep. I remove it. Right, because you will be surprised of what goes on in your subconscious mind. Even just hearing a little chatter, gossip, things that are really not fitting you, it takes a toll on you. And I like to stay far away from that as I can, where I can feel more at peace. And for me to do that is doing the things that I enjoy, staying away from certain negative things. Speaking about Jim Rohn, he says that pessimism it's stupid. You got to educate it, right? So when I come around people that are pessimistic, people that are negative, sometimes you gotta educate them, let them know. Well, what that means is that could be simply not being around it, right? Just totally ignoring it, so it won't, that extra weight, won't be on you. So to answer the question, it's keeping things real simple. Keeping things real simple by doing things that I enjoy, taking walks, and just finding my area of peace.
I love it.
Well, and when you're doing that, when you're taking these walks, when you're sewing back into self, obviously, as we mentioned, it recharges your batteries.
Oh, yeah.
And what is that output that people receive? What I want to know is, what does that look like in regards to making you stand out? We call it at this table that X factor. What's that thing about the name King himself, Keith Henry? I'm coining you. I ain't already branded you as the name King.
You ain't gonna hear no complaints from me.
What is that X factor about? What is that thing, the intangible or tangible, that makes you stand outside of everyone else?
Oh yeah, I think that's attitude. It's just simple as that, because that's what I'm about. You look at Michael. I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan by no means, but if you look at anyone that's great, right? I was about to say Michael Jordan. Look at his attitude, how he views the game, and just my attitude. I'm going. You knock me down, I'm gonna get up. Right? Say no, I'm gonna keep going. I break my leg, it's gonna heal. I'm gonna do it again. Right? I'm gonna keep moving forward, and I want people to know that I have the right attitude. And when you come with Keith come in the room, he's bringing the right attitude to get that job done, right? I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's snowing. I don't care if it's a hurricane. I don't care if it's a tornado. These things happen. This is life.
He was getting the contract signed during Harvey.
Yeah. Like,
he's like his rescue boat.
I got a boat.
He's like, I got a boat out there.
I'm coming.
I got to get this contract signed.
Yeah. This is what it is.
But you got to have the right attitude, right? And a lot of times I think people go into business, they don't have the right attitude, right? It's always something. Well, that's how it is. It's always going to be something.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's funny because what I'm getting from you is that you really peel the onion back. You really force people to dive deep into their soul, like the pit of your soul. Like who are you? Because a lot of times, oftentimes, people will regurgitate, "Oh, I build relationships." They're rattling off competencies, right?
Yes.
Just because they read it and they think it sounds good or whatever, but it's really about really who are you? Like what makes up your DNA?
Exactly, and that's a good point, because when I talk about core values, I would say, well, what is it that you really value? And people will say, well, customer service, teamwork, integrity. what does those things mean?
Like, what does that really mean? Yeah.
Anybody can value those things, right? Figure out what it is that you truly value. For example, I say, well, here's another example. A company says we value customer service. Like, okay, cool. All right, I got to call them now. 1-800, whatever. Press 1 for this. Press 2 for that. Press 3 for this.
You failed already.
Exactly.
That's
Press pound.
Robot centric.
Say,
that ain't customer centric.
They say, well, we thank you for your business and your time. Hold, please. The phone hangs up.
Yeah.
And you got to go through it all again. Like, so you really value? I mean, it's easy to say, hey, we value customer service. See, there's a difference between wanting to value something and valuing something, even in your personal life, right? Think about someone say, I value my family, but you're never home.
Yeah.
Right. So it's easy to say I value these things, but how do you back them up? Like, how do I back up?
The action.
What is the action? Like, what are your standards to say I value customer service? Because when you start thinking about it, maybe it's not customer service that you value. Of course, it's customer service, but it's so generic. Who's going to say I don't value customer service?
Exactly. You got to dive deeper.
You got to dive deeper. Maybe what you value is making the customer feel that feeling of satisfaction, right? Maybe that's what you truly value. So everything you do has to be consistent with that, just like in your personal life. Let me ask you this: like, can you say one thing that you value?
I value honesty and integrity. When I step into the room and I put something on someone's shoulder, whether it's delegation, whether it's an opportunity, I value them holding that in high esteem and being honest and forward with whatever they have going on in their life. And probably one of the reasons why that's at the forefront of my mind is from a staffing perspective, my mindset has shifted. So I'm looking for integrity. I'm looking for honesty because I need it to help build great customer service, to help deliver excellence each and every day. If I don't have that in individuals and staff, if I don't have that in volunteers, what can I offer from a customer service perspective? I got to have it.
So it seems like, of course, you value those things, but it also seems like you value the people to be encouraged enough to step up, right?
Always.
So once we start thinking about that, it's like, well, that's what I really value. I want to be direct enough so people understand where I'm coming from, so they can be encouraged to step up. So it seems like you value to encourage people in order to them to take action. So now we got that in our mind. So now we can start focusing and shifting and doing things to represent that, to translate into that. So everything you do will be consistent to help people feel encouraged for you to be direct. Right?
You hear this man breaking it
Listen,
down?
I mean, because he's. I hope you're getting this, because if you're still confused, if you still caught up at the juncture of these competencies, then you need to give our man a call.
Yeah, that sounded so good. It should be on an advertisement.
Hey,
Speaking of which, this particular portion of the show is sponsored by The Sphere. So, are you starting your business or looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue coupled with your strategic ad is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send us an email to advertise@thesphere.tv. So, that's how it made me feel. Real passionate inside.
I can tell. I can feel it.
You feel that?
I feel the energy.
It's coming now. It's coming. It's coming.
See, and it's my job. See, what I value, what I'm about, fairly simple.
Hit us that value proposition. I feel like it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming right now. So what I'm about is I want Kick Street. We want to touch people's emotions. I just saw that. I feel like my job is done.
There it is.
Touch people's emotions, right? With the name, with how we do business, with my attitude. That's what we are about. And I help companies figure that out for themselves, what they are about. And you know why it's important? It's important because to reach your target audience, how can you reach an audience if you don't know who you are? Right? See, many businesses are targeting the wrong people. You over here. Nah, man, your audience over here. But you're never going to figure that out if you don't know who you are.
Wrong demographic.
Oh, boy.
Demographic. And we see this a lot. They have the wrong marketing message. You got a great product, but the message is not resonating with the right people. People are going to do business with you because they share your beliefs. They like where you're coming from.
The why.
The why, right? And if you don't have that, it's going to be that much harder to convert, or to build the right audience because you're targeting the wrong people. So spend the time to figure out who you are, because once you know that, then you will know your audience. And people make buying decisions based on emotions. Right? It's not rationale. So to do that is to help them figure out who they are so they can relate to you. Right? People are going to buy from businesses that they relate to.
Always.
This is why we have brand names. I wear Gucci, Nike. I'm expressing this is who I am. This is my identity. So you want your business. I relate. You want your business to help people to relate. And you don't have to have a clothing line or be Mercedes-Benz to have that same feeling. People go to Starbucks every day.
Right.
Spending $5 on coffee. They're not doing it for the coffee. Starbucks helps people express this is who I am. Of course, it's convenient. Right? But Dunkin' Donuts is convenient. McDonald's is convenient for coffee, but they give you something else. You share some of their values.
That's a gem right there. Y'all better pick up on these.
So big.
It was. Now, real quick, before we get out of here, let's talk 5, 10, 20 years from now.
Okay.
Mr. Name King himself. Where do
You can put that on a t-shirt.
Where do you
I'm working on
see
it.
Kick Street and NameIsKing.com? Where do you see these entities in 2030, 2040?
Yeah, well, in 20, 30, 40 years from now, and in the future, what I see Kick Street is creating movies, right? From going beyond naming and developing products, I would like to get into the film industry and start creating film, because it still falls in line with what we believe, what we are about, which is touching people's emotions, right? I look at some movies and I'm just like, man, who came up with that? That's trash.
Straight up.
So I'm a big believer is, well, if I'm gonna criticize it, if I can do better, then it's my duty to do so. So I feel like, well, I can create some great concepts as far as film goes, whether it's comic book related or sci-fi related or whatever. But I feel like Kick Street could produce some great work there. So in the future, we'd like to create notable and recognizable, characters and ideas related to movies. Like, you got Star Wars, you have, Marvel and DC. Maybe I can create something along those lines, like a genre. Like you got Walking Dead. So come up with some ideas and execute that.
I like
put it
that,
in a film.
That's pretty dope.
That fiction is coming to life right here.
Yeah.
Startup Masters. I like that, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's great stuff, because I love to read a book by you on the fiction side. I love to see you adapt something and bring that to life. So I got some ideas for you.
Shoot them by me. Yeah,
we'll talk
off mic
about that. So without further ado, I think it's about that time.
I believe
because
it's about
of everything
that time.
I've heard, everything that I've learned at this table, everything that has been sown into you all. Name King, we would like to officially coin you a startup master.
Right.
So let anyone and everyone that's listening right now, that's watching this podcast, let them know where they can reach you and reach out to you for more information.
Yeah, first you can reach me directly at Keith@kickstreet.com. I'd love to hear from you. It don't have to be about, I need a name. I just want to hear about what project you have, what you're doing. Like I said, I love people. I love talking to people who's doing things. So Keith@kickstreet.com. That's my email. You can go to NameIsKing.com, check out the blog. You can see some of the articles that we have. If you look on the sidebar on the right, we have upcoming events. I run a meetup group called Marketing Playmakers, meetup.com. The group is called Marketing Playmakers. Please come out, meet other entrepreneurs, other people who are inspired to do great things, other people who want to become better at marketing, gain resources for marketing. The next event we have is on March 1st. Not sure where it's going to be, but it's going to be about marketing mistakes, the mistakes people have made in marketing, and going to have a few business owners come out and talk about that. You can look me up on LinkedIn. So to recap, we got Keith@kickstreet.com. NameIsKing.com, and NameIsKing.com it goes beyond just about naming. We're talking about how do I have a great image? How do I have a better image, a reputation, an identity? So we have a lot of different marketing concepts at Name is King. So I think anybody can definitely gain some knowledge from it. So subscribe to the blog. Look me up on LinkedIn at Keith Henry. If you can't find me on LinkedIn, Keith@kickstreet.com.
There it is. And of course, make sure y'all go pick up this great book, How to Create a Great Business Name. We want you to put your hands on it. Amazon?
Amazon.
Five-star.
And the
5-star
website?
rating.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. There it is. There it is. KG, where can the good people reach you at, my dear?
Good people, for my YouTubers out there, KOG Speaks TV, and for everybody else, if you want to catch me on LinkedIn, the Gram, Facebook, it's Kalia Guillory or KOG Speaks. What about you, G?
I can be found anywhere and everywhere online, folks. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z. Remember, if you got any questions about anything we've conversed about today on the show, shoot us an email, startupmasters@thesphere.tv, or hit us up on social media at The Sphere TV. Use our coveted hashtag StartupMasters. But until then, this has been another dope episode.
Another one.
Dopeness. We will see you all next time. Take care.